Hello. Good. Good Friday to you. It is July the 28th. How we doing? I hope you're doing well. There's going to be episode 848. 848. Where you're listening to and from. Where you're listening to and from? Where you're listening from. I hope you're doing well on this Friday. Or Saturday if you're in Australia, because I know we have some people from Australia who pop in from time to time. Great to have you here. Hey Michelle, welcome back as always. Hey my friend, watch out, you, watch out for an email. This weekend. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I feel the same. But hopefully this may re-energize you. Well, actually not too much because you're sure 11:03 p.m. Maybe this will restore you. But great to have you here. Seems a little bit quiet in the chat today. You are most welcome. Almost there. Almost there. I think you're gonna love it. But seems a little bit quiet in the chat. Maybe people are just snoozing, going to bed, finishing work if you're in America, or going out, being a Friday. But that just makes it a little bit more intimate and a little bit maybe quicker. But we do have the Grim here. Welcome, my friend. He's way too busy, but he is also an amazing graphic designer, but too busy to hire, I think, based on what I read. But great to have you here. Hope you are well, sir. Hello, hello. Well deserved, but way too busy. Way too busy. Hey, Luca, great to have you here. It is Friday for you, sir. Friday for me too. Oops. That was when I was going on the list first. I'm here as usual. Well, that's not a bad thing. That's commitment. Some might say punishment, but I like to think it as commitment. I went for a nice hike today. A bit like I did the other day, but not as high, but longer. And it was good. Hot. Yes. Yes. Well, people are tuning in now, which is good. Usually, I mean, we've got 16 likes on YouTube or thumbs up already, which is great. So thank you. I give you a thumbs up for your thumbs up. So that's awesome. We got 16 of those. But yeah, you're right. It is a Friday. What are you doing here? Get out partying. Go to a club or a pub or a restaurant. Yeah, my brother is been unwell. My granddad also who's been unwell, and they're both in England. My trainer had to cancel on me today because he's unwell, which obviously he's in America. So I think there's something going around. But that's good to know. I did not. I'm on the lookout these days because now I feel like I'm on a... I want to be able to... I saw some lizards. I didn't take any pictures of those. But I don't want to, but I want to, so I can put it on Instagram. Put like a snake or something. Thankfully, there's no bears. And I don't want to see a mountain lamb. But great to have you also here, Med. Great to have you. Oh no, you've been unwell as well. When was it? On your birthday. So, we kind of got it wrong, but right. Because your birthday's on the 24th of July, just gone. I can't remember. Who remembered? I was like, I knew it. But I think Tanya, maybe Mina, remembered. But when it was like, it is our 24th, but it was actually your 25th, so we're a day late still on the live. But hopefully you're feeling a lot better, or on the mend at the very least. Thank you, Luca. So please, thank you for promoting my work and sharing and all those good things. Appreciate that. You don't want to see a snake? My brother wanted to see a snake. My other brother, that was. I think he wants to come to America to see a snake rather than me. I would not rather see a bear. Oh my goodness. It's great to have you here. I don't know what I was going to say now. I thought I was going to say something. But we are broadcasting live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, the naughty Facebook, who is muting my streams. Kick. And that's it, I think. Is that like the kind of scouts, do you mean? Oh no, you wanted one as a pet. Oh, for some reason I was going like being in the scouts. Weren't they called cubs? You wanted one. Maybe when they're young. Oh good, at least you get to party next month. But I think there's been something going about though. Yeah, let's make sure we keep them on video, not in person. It's weird because if you think of the Californian flag, there's a bear. I mean, you get bears up north, but in San Diego, there's no bears. No bears. Which is good for me. The last thing I want to do is stumble across a bear. I don't want no tigers, lions, bears, no sharks. None of those. That's a good little reframe. Yes, nothing to be, or in my experience of having lived here in like California, it's been a total of probably 7 years. No, I felt them. The ones, when I used to live a little bit further up north, the ones which were really interesting was the Oceanside military base where they do all the testing. You'd hear the rumbles and things. And when I also lived in that area, a new housing development was going up and they were using explosives to go into the land, and that shook my house. Let's keep those slight as well then. But just here and there. Oh my goodness. Isn't it true that there's more, I think it might be lions or tigers? Lions and tigers and or in Texas than there is in the wild? I need a fact checker. Someone Google that. I don't want to be done for misinformation on that, but supposedly there's more lions, tigers, or one or the other, or both, in that state compared to the whole world. That's true. A lot of people, right? Didn't Mike Tyson have a couple of those? Privately owned tigers, not the wild, of course. Are you sure? I thought I heard wild. But I can't be bothered to fact check myself, but maybe we'll go with your one. But oh yeah, unless you mean, yeah, there's more privately owned tigers, as in still tigers, than the wild, I mean. So maybe we're kind of both right there. Because they got all the, you know, like, do you remember the Joe Exotic? You got all those sanctuaries and the privately owned ones. Yeah, I think that was based on a true story, though, or a real experience. Unless he still had his tiger and just brought it to the movie. Yes. No, not exactly. Unless there's an escape. There was a really good, before the whole Joe Exotic, if you don't know, for those in America, there's a really good investigative but funny reporter called Louis Theroux, or Thoreau. And he actually went over to Texas or wherever it was, and Joe Exotic was in that, but it was like way before his TV series. And there was a storm happening, and they were really worried that they were going to escape. So it depends where you are. Like Austin, Texas is incredibly green because it's got the river running through it. So it's so nice and green. But I remember like going through Texas, it's just like desert. A lot of it is just desert, like Nevada and probably Arizona and all those kind of things. So as a whole, no, it is not very green. But yeah, as a whole, it's not that green, just in certain areas. For chupacabra, I don't have the right accent. For chupacabra. Yeah, traditionally real or not. It's Mexican, I believe, but it still has sightings in different places. I mean, it's across the border, right? So, thank you, Cheryl. Very kind of you. Great to have you here. For Chupacabra? I'm not saying it right either. I think that's the Joe Exotic one, right? On Netflix. It was all out on the COVID times. Okay, should we get going in a moment? Get going? I need to relax. I need to relax a little bit. So, if we start now, we can end class early. Who wants to end class early today? Who wants to go home early from class and relax at the weekend? That's not me saying it. I don't want to jinx it. I bet. Whereabouts? So I know you're in England, but would it be like in Africa, India, Thailand? I don't really see those in the wild in Thailand though, unfortunately, but I know obviously the safari parks in South or Africa and so on. Yeah, not too late, up at 5:30. You should be in bed now then, it's 11:20 for you. Hey Linda, great to have you here. Welcome back. Yeah, we should all just go to sleep. Oh, Central India. Okay. Yeah, there was some famous unfortunate events as well. There was meant to be this kind of rare lion, and there was two of them, and they didn't have manes. I don't know if anyone knows that story, but they were like purposely going after people rather than livestock, which can be kind of rare. But they didn't have manes either. Awesome. Those squirrels are pretty quick. So let's start the episode 848. We'll try and take it nice and slow, as in not too energetic for those in the evening on a Friday. But very quickly, I usually like to speak for 20 to 30 minutes. That's what I typical, and I don't do it purposefully. I just tend to stop at that point. I think I'm just used to speaking for that amount of time. Unless it's a Q&A and it can go for like an hour and a half, but I was thinking maybe we should just do some short ones, just like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. What do you think? What's a good length of time for a podcast episode on stuff? I thought about it on Sunday. I don't think there was any recommendations or suggestions. I wanted to come from like, excuse me. Should have put a hand over my mouth. Apologize. I apologize. So we've got 18 minutes. Exactly 18 minutes. Me too. I don't think about it. I don't look at the time. I don't do much. That is way too specific, yeah. 18 minutes and 18 seconds, please. But what do we reckon? What do we reckon? Can't even speak. Yeah. So I listen to a lot of long form podcasts which go for like 2 hours. But I think self-development topics are different. It's probably 5 minutes these days. It's probably 60 seconds because of things like stories and reels and TikToks and all that stuff. Probably after 60 seconds I've lost people. Yeah, I tend to go with the flow. I don't think about it, but I'm just curious what you think. I like to think what you're thinking. Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, that was many years ago now on ITV, for those who remember in England, or know in England. Okay, let's get to it. But very quickly, I do not. Some things are a bit too much. Like, it's very specific and analytical. But I get you needed like the data, but I'm not a usual one. Yeah, Sid. 1520, cool. Okay, let's get to it. Episode 848. I'm going to stop this music for a moment, and we'll start again. Actually, no, we won't. We'll just start. We'll carry on. We'll just have fun. We don't have to follow the rules around here, because now it's not going to be a very clean edit, but I don't mind. Great to have you back, Marianne. Just about to start. I think you're our first Facebooker today. Okay. Ready, steady, let's go. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 848. And in today's episode, we're talking about how to unchain and retrain your brain. Okay, so I want to just kind of break things down. I want to give you options. You can combine things, add things, you can go really deep into it. You can just do things very, very subtly maybe. But ultimately, it is possible to retrain how your mind works. Too often do we think we're broken and unfixable. That's just who we are, right? We just kind of think, oh my goodness, this is who I am. But I'm going to just say, it is not who you are, it is just how you are presently acting. That's what it is. It is, to break it down even more specifically, a strategy, a learned strategy. So that means if you have like a crazy big limiting identity conflict of the I am not good enough, the I am not worthy, the I am not deserving, the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of getting hurt, the fear of not being safe, if you have the blushing, the anxiety, the lack of confidence, the low self-esteem, they're very generalized as a world and they're generalized as an experience, but that's because that's how we associate with them. That's how we feel them, right? That's how we experience it on a day-to-day basis. So it's easy for us to think that that is who I am. Like, that is just my identity. That's just interpretation from a subjective viewpoint, right? That's what it's about. But in reality, it is a strategy. somewhere along the line, something happened, or numerous things happened, where you had consistent thoughts, consistent feelings, or one big thought and one big experience of a feeling that created a decision about yourself and or about the world. And then you repeated that strategy, that mindset, that thought, that limiting idea about yourself or the world so much that your brain got coded along the way. You may call it like the neuroplasticity. It's your ability to be able to wire things up. The more times you think something, feel something, it is easier for your unconscious mind just to take you from where you are to where you want to be, or where you don't want to be, if it's in the context of experiencing an issue, or a solution if it's where you want to be, right? So the neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to learn things. But if you've learned something not so good, like a limiting belief, say you've gone through an event or a series of events that learned an idea about yourself, which like a virus kind of spread throughout your neurology because you thought about it, felt about it for so long, it formulates a limiting belief, which creates the feelings of anxiety, fear, worry, the fear of rejection, the fear of being hurt, the fear of being found out, which then shows and creates a set of behaviors which all just reinforce that identity. You look for it, in other words. You look for these little confirmations as to why you are like you are. Oh, that's why I'm not enough, because this relationship attracted like a narcissist or a bad person or someone who cheated on me, or my boss, or my health, or my association to money. That's why I'm always in debt, because X, Y, Z. We look for these reasons to confirm our experience. And I was thinking about this specifically today, that I can hold a belief which, even when I'm presented with absolute evidence, I still sometimes struggle to give up that belief. It's interesting. Have you ever had an experience like that, where even though someone like proved you wrong or gave you an alternative set of evidence, and then you check on the inside and you're like, yeah, they're right, but I'm holding tight onto this belief system because we've built it up as evidence, and it's hard to let go of a belief that way. And that can just be about something conversationally. It could be about a subject. It could be about a generalization about society or a viewpoint or about money. So imagine how hard it can be for your unconscious mind to give up a belief system about your identity when it's presented a new set of evidence. Because your identity, or what you think it is anyway, is your reality. It is who you are as a subjective point of view. So we kind of go, how can I give this up? I've got all this evidence proving that I'm not enough, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not deserving. And on top of that, even if there was new evidence, for example, I was speaking to someone today, and it kind of, the conversation went, well, how will you know if this has disappeared? Like when you work with people and things, because they had their own doubt. Like I could present as much evidence as possible, but sometimes they'll just go, well, yeah, of course, it's amazing. It'll work for them, but it won't work for me. Even with all that evidence of that absolute 100% experience, because they've built up that identity. So this is just what we do as humans. It is what we do on a brain level when it comes to experiencing conflict, internal conflict about limiting beliefs. So now we know why that is important. We kind of know what it is, but how can we start to change it? How can we start to undo that strategy? Because it is, once again, a strategy. Try to get that into your mind. this belief about myself is not my identity. In fact, I put a little kind of, I'm just getting into Instagram a little bit, just here and there. And I was saying that ultimately belief is the enemy of knowing, because beliefs are polarizing, beliefs are subjective, beliefs are conflicting, beliefs are learned, where knowing is just is. That's what it is. You just know, right? But we tend to think that the knowing is the belief, but really the belief, what we're having, is not true. Like, it feels so true. That's why it's so hard to give them up. And that's why we hold on to them so tight, consciously or even just unconsciously. But if that is true, the beliefs are created, they were learned, they are conflicting, they're polarizing, and all these, they're generalizations, it must mean they are a strategy because you didn't always have that belief. So there was a time in your life where you did not believe anything about money or anything like that. There was a time in your life when you didn't believe that you weren't worthy. And if that's the case, it must have been a learned strategy. So how do we then go ahead and undo these strategies? Because hopefully that resonates with you. Number one, we can start to use a form of affirmations. Affirmations are okay. They are okay. I'm not going to say they're amazing, but they're definitely a gentle nudge in the right direction. My only disclaimer of why some affirmations are not so good is my analogy when I talk about if there was mold on your wall or behind your wall in your living room, you wouldn't just paint over it and expect the mold to disappear, right? You wouldn't do that because you know it's still there and it's going to come back and it's going to be very bad for your respiration. So what you would do is take out the mold to then paint over the wall, right? You do all the cleaning first. And the reason why I say that analogy is that's how affirmations can work sometimes. Like, you're just trying to paint over a limiting belief, where really that belief is there, and what can happen is you can start to become a little bit disillusioned. Because you're going, I'm worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy, where inside you're going, no, I'm not, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. I feel worse now because it's not actually coming into a reality, right? It's not coming into a reality, which therefore deepens the conflict of not being good enough. So yes, they are good to help you along your way, to put some ease into your life. Like, as I like to always say to myself, I'm going to look forward to being surprised by something good and great today in known and unknown ways. That's like an affirmation for opportunity. But I'm clean of my limiting beliefs of the past, of not believing I'm worthy or good enough or deserving. So use it on the one condition that you actively are seeking the solution to that limiting belief. It is not the one-all solution. It can help you, but don't let it prolong without working on the issue, because that's when the issue will get worse. But what you could do is not solely like work on the core limiting belief, using some other things I'll mention, but also get help with a specialist, ideally, who can just solve these things for you just very quickly. So utilize them, but maybe we just kind of take the affirmation and instead turn it to confirmation. There's something I've been thinking about a while ago. I was talking about far deeper into my group coaching calls that I have within my main program. And I was just saying, look, how can we look for confirmations of the opposite? Like, what is happening in our day-to-day experience which we are deleting and distorting or generalizing, which is still there, but we just miss out on it? So maybe look for confirmations which differ from that core limiting belief. Maybe that's something that we should be looking for. So for example, if I'm feeling not good enough, how can I look for confirmations where I am enough? Right? And that means I'm looking for evidence. Usually I'm looking for evidence as to why I am not enough, because this person did that, because of this past experience, which proves it to be so-called true. But if I start to train my brain, I'm going to start to look for confirmations of where I am enough, confirmations as to where I am capable. And it can be totally different in context as to where the issue lives. Now, I tend to think what you do in one area of your life, you tend to do in most areas of your life. One core issue creates most of the issues. But maybe it is in a different context. Let's just say the context is, well, I have a real bad limiting beliefs, thoughts, worries, and doubts and anxieties in the context of my career. So I want to make X amount of money, I want to grow, or I want to have a business, we can add that one in there. But your relationship is really, really good. So maybe look for the confirmations of where you're really, really good in a relationship, which will then start to soften, or even better, get the unconscious mind to remember. If that's in the forefront of your mind, it can pass it over into relationships, because what you do in one thing, you tend to do in most things. So the more confirmations you look in a different context, it's in the forefront of your mind, and therefore your unconscious mind might transfer it over to that different context. That's the neuroplasticity type of it. It's just in a different context. But if you can find maybe confirmations in the context of your career where you are enough or worthy, it's definitely going to help. Like, we're just stacking things on right now. So we can have the affirmations, but be conscious and cautious. But we can also look for mini confirmations throughout our day. If you can write them down, even better. Now, the other thing which I know is an absolute real game changer is the form of visualization. The more you visualize, and especially from a perception of almost like just seeing yourself, so you're dissociated. If you visualize yourself in a dissociated way, as if you're observing yourself, you are telling your brain, this is how I want to act and react. And the reason why we dissociate, by the way, because I've said this a couple of times, but you have an absence of negative feelings. If you're looking through your own eyes, you're probably going to re-trigger a lot of those emotions as to why I should have anxiety and worries. But if you dissociate, observe yourself, you will then start to have less or zero negative emotions to help you have the visualization of what you want and how you want to act and react. That's going to start to give you a new strategy. There's been so many countless studies, and I'm not even going to go into them. If you can look up people like Dr. David Hamilton, another Hay House author, loads of studies as to how it is easy and possible. It can take time, right? But you're here to transform your life. Something I saw today is someone saying that, look, they only have so many seasons left. They were in their 50s, and they're like, well, typically the average lifespan in America could be like 78 years old. And he was like 58 or something. And he was just saying, well, that means I've only got X amount of summers left. And that could be sobering, right? To go, oh my goodness, I've got far less time. I've gone over the time compared to having more time and less time. And that could be a good wake-up call. But it's a far better idea to have in your mind rather prolonging the pain and living the rest of those summers, where it be 10 summers, 5 summers, 1 summer, 50 summers, whatever it is. It is important to have that wake-up call. I'm going to do the work today. I'm going to start doing it because I don't want to keep the prolonged pain. If you are more committed to doing nothing, you're committed to staying the same. So that might kind of hurt a little bit. But if you're not committed to doing something, you're more committed to staying the same and keeping the problem. So you've got to apply these things, unless you get someone to really support you through that, and it makes it a lot easier. But getting the visualization going, if I were to give you a tip, would be my 3-step process I created about living in the now. So the first one is, every morning when you wake up, you begin to visualize how you want your day to go. Notice I said how you want it to go, not how it has gone, not how you've expected it to go. All of those things, you want to be able to just kind of consider, how do you want your day to go? That's it. Visualize it as much as you can in that observational kind of perspective. And then throughout the day, look for those confirmations, right? They're going to show up here and there. And what you're doing on top of this is you're training your brain to go, I'm going to do this for you. Because anything that you do consistently, you start to develop the habit, the pattern, the strategy, just like the one we're running of the low self-esteem or the limiting belief. So once you look for those confirmations throughout your day, and you could just go every 2 hours, I'm going to think of 5 confirmations, 1 confirmation, 2 confirmations that confirm why I am XYZ in a good, positive way. How you performed well, how was that conversation go, how you're a good partner, parent, fill in the blank. It's just going to stack things up. And then as you go to sleep at night, you ask yourself and your unconscious mind, what did I learn from my day? What can I learn from my day that once learned will allow me to be safer tomorrow? If you start to do that, we're doing a process of creation, confirmation, and learning and growing. And those learnings will pass through to the next day, and then you repeat the process. You're really saying, look, I'm going to invest 15, 20 minutes of my day, 10 minutes in the morning, or let's just say half hour just to go overboard. Crazy, right? Half hour to transform your world every day. But say 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes throughout the day, like a minute here, 10 minutes before you go to sleep, and then listen to one of my hypnosis sessions to guide you to sleep as an extra little bonus of what we should be doing anyway. So that's going to start to do some big changes. Other levels of transformation is gratitude. Gratitude for what you have, easiest gateway to gratitude. You can be grateful for the ability to listen to, maybe you're getting gratitude for, and by listening I mean like you're here, you're wanting to learn and grow. That's a great level of gratitude you should be having. It could be the gratitude for your home, your family, your friends, your pets, whatever it is for you. Then you look for gratitude for who you are. And you can invite those confirmations into this, because that's a form of gratitude when you start to look for the confirmation. And then for gratitude, a bit like how I said earlier, when I wake up, I'm like, I wonder how the world's going to surprise me today in the most amazing way, in known and unknown ways, of something great happening for me. That is gratitude for the unknown, but for the thing you're expecting. Right? I'm expecting some good unknownness. When I do that, I am open. I'm not focused. I am open to things, something beyond myself. So that will be another way of doing things. And then finally, you can slow things down. Catch yourself when you are having that limiting thought. Freeze it just for a moment. Don't let it just happen and run unconsciously. At the moment, it's like a record going around. It's going around and around and around, playing that album non-stop. Could be the inner critic, it could be the feelings of anxiety, but you need to sometimes just pause the song, pause the record, and go, okay, what's happening here? Is this true? Is it not true? Can I look for these other confirmations right now? Can I add a bit of gratitude in the moment? Can I catch myself and then be more stoic in nature? Be at peace with some potential negatives, knowing that worst case is never the real worst case, it's not going to happen. All of these things you can start to invite into your life. So they're just some ways. Of course, like I said, hypnosis, really, really powerful tool. That's why I do hypnosis, because I know that it works in every way. Working with an expert who will just get you there quickly. Like if you believe you're not good enough, worthy, deserving, I would probably reach out to someone like me, because that's what I solve. And it's like specifically for that. And you can do that at, say, josephclough.info/talk. Fill out an application, and then you have a chat with us, and we'll just see if you're a good fit. Of course, there is an investment to that as well. It's a significant one. I mean, at the end of the day, we can deliver results which gets us abundance, all the relationships, all the career, all the business, like all the things beyond that. And it's a real deep process and of life transformation. It's really, really fun, and it lights me up every time I think about it. So you can do that. But there are many ways. There's many roads that lead to Rome, right? That's a little sentence that people say. And we just got to be able to utilize all the things, or the one thing which will solve the everything, of course, but really allowing yourself to go, okay, I'm going to do the work to get there. It's something I was just to finish on, just to hopefully kind of an analogy I was thinking about. You are the prisoner of the mind, right? Because it feels like you're a prisoner. It feels like, oh my goodness, I'm locked up here. Like I'm chained. That's why this episode is called How to Unchain and Retrain Your Brain. So we feel like we are a prisoner caged in to our issue. But on the same notion, you are the prison warden as well. You have the ability, you've got the keys to undo the prison of your mind. You have the keys to unchain yourself. We just don't tend to look from that perspective. We always feel like the victim or the prisoner, where in reality you are unconsciously and consciously doing this. No one's in our brain literally creating a belief. It is something that we have formulated, and if we can formulate it, we can unformulate it. We can create something else. We can retrain our brain. So try not to generalize it and just kind of break it down to a strategy and then interrupt the strategy. You have the keys. Remember, you may feel like you're the prisoner, but you're the prison warden. You have the ability to undo the door, the lock, the chains, whatever you think in that little analogy right there. And that just means you have the power to achieve your desires. So I hope you got value from this. Now, if you are enjoying this and you've got value from my work and you haven't got the app yet, that's one of the best ways to support the work that I'm doing, right? Because that means it's a win-win-win. It's a win for me because that means I keep on adding to it and start kind of making an impact. It's a win for you because you get access to all the hypnosis within it, whether it be all the functionality like hearting or making sleep or turning it into a sleep session or downloading it, creating playlists, having those morning meditations. They're in the app as well to support you. You've got the 4-hour sleep sessions, you've got custom audios, once again, day and night. Create playlists, I don't know if I said that, and also by leaving a review, and that just means you get to support yourself, you get to help others by being different, transforming your life, leaving a review which will allow other people to have the ability to change as well. All of those things. You've got to just, also you haven't got, I was just thinking about my for tour I was just doing, but you've got to maybe invest in yourself through the app if you wanted to, but if not, just listen to all the free work. There's now 848 episodes thanks to this episode, and that means you can just use all the free stuff if you want. Whatever it is for you, whatever you feel is matching the energy of your desire, if you're putting as much outcome and action and time into it, then you're good to go to live the life that you desire. So if you need to get the app, go ahead to freehypnosis.app. There are 2 little buttons there, one for the Google Play, one for the Apple iStore or Apple App Store, and that will take you directly there. So with that, I look forward to speaking to you on a future episode. Many thanks and goodbye. Oh, wrong button. Many thanks and goodbye. And we did it. We did it. 848. Episode 848. So how did we do? Great to have you here, Kevin, as well. Hopefully you'll get value from it. I don't know if you got the beginning or the mid or the end. Yeah, why not? Why not? That's where you gotta let go of that limiting belief. Thank you, Cheryl. So kind of you. Hey Hans, great to have you here. You're working with Brighton versus Newcastle. Newcastle. Why, aye, man. For the English Premier League Summer Series stateside over here at the Red Bull Arena, Harrison, New Jersey. That's awesome. I know Manchester are now, and Wrexham are over here. Well, they played already. Hey, Superstar, welcome. Did you comment earlier, or do you just comment now? Great to have you here. And swoosh. Oh, thank you so much. You're in my private group. It always doesn't have the name. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you, Leah. Yes, retrain it. We're really evolving. Thank you, Mina. Are the matches today, or a match is going live tonight? Is that the one you said, I guess? Yeah. 5:30 Eastern. Thank you so much. I did not. That was Geordie. Why aye, man? Why aye? That's not Welsh, that's Geordie. I'm sure. I'm not very good at accents. But they say why aye? Why aye? Why aye, man? Oh, I like our kid. Liverpool. Oh, okay. I have to remember that one. You're awake, yes. Thank you, Michelle. That's very kind of you. It's not Irish. Oh, 4:30 Pacific. That's in just 34 minutes. That's not Irish. Irish would be... I could do more of a Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland. But there you go. That's my accents impressions for today, which everyone seems to think is absolutely a different place from. So I might be good at Welsh while pretending to do Geordie. And then the other one sound like Irish. I can't remember. You are most welcome. Thank you for being here. A Glaswegian accent. No, I'm not very good at... Well, I didn't seem to be good at any. But I can't do Glaswegian. Scottish? No, can't do Scottish. I know Glaswegian is different from Edinburgh and things like that. Yeah, have a wonderful weekend. I've got a bit of work to do, but other than that, I am really needing to stop. I'm gonna just stop and relax. I cannot do American accents. Every time I try to do one, it sounds terrible. So no. Type in the hypnosis section WAF and it will come right up. That's definitely going to help anyway. That's going to be the one. But remember that core limiting belief, my friend. But just type in worth or enough. Well, it's actually the same thing. It's worth and good enough. Is a specific title with both of those. And it comes in a day and night version. Yeah, I've got to set up. So there's a friend of mine, and he's rearranging his audio. My hair, my fan. I've got to help set up his recording system, so I've got to do that. But we'll see. But I'm gonna do my very best. Dude, that's gnarly. That was something like a surfer one. I can't do that. I can't do it. I can't do it. What's that? Is that Geordie? I got a haircut last week, I think. The week before. It's growing too much again. But thank you. Appreciate that. Gnarly has a G. But you don't say the gnarly. Gnarly. That's the one. Oh, that's awesome. Appreciate that. Very, very kind of you. Yeah, get those 4-hour ones in as well. You never heard Geordie. So Geordie is like from Newcastle area. Up north. I'm from the south. So I'm from the south, let's just say that. And the more north you go, the harder it is for a lot of Americans to understand. I know the actor, yeah. I can't remember his name. He's done quite a lot of movies, isn't he? By experiencing the results. Plus, you get your one custom one this weekend. Well, that's easy enough to do. It's pretty wide. Because you got all these other languages. I'm trying to just master this English one. If you got 3 of them, they're going to merge maybe. Right? Do you kind of go from one to another to another? English. Yeah, the more north you go, the thicker the accent is. And I find that not all the time, but they can drop out words of a sentence like up down the pub. Up down the pub. But I may be generalizing as well. But yeah. It is definitely thicker. And I wonder why. Because even in America, the more southern you go, the more north you go, it's like thicker. Like I'd say the New York accent is thicker than southern, but maybe, I don't know. Because when you got Florida, can be pretty, I don't know. Who knows? Yeah. And depending who you're speaking to, right? Who you're speaking to. So one of my friends, I went to see him in Edinburgh actually, in Scotland. and he's half Scottish, but he's grew up in the South, so he would have a very much like an English Southern accent. As soon, and it was the weirdest experience. I may have said it before, but we're just like in the hotel, somewhere in Edinburgh, and he was like in the lobby. We're just about to kind of go out. He gets a phone call from his mum, and he's suddenly just speaking in a Scottish accent. Like, he was so unconscious about it. Like, he didn't think, I've got to speak in a Scottish accent. You switch reality, right? You switch reality. And the interesting thing is that if you are bilingual, for most people I've ever spoke to when I ask this question, is they see the world differently depending on the language that they're speaking or the culture that they've gone into. So for example, it could be like in English and Spanish, when they go to Spain, because they're like, say, half Spanish or whatever, grew up there, when they go there, they see the world differently as well. So not only does language change, but their perception of world will change. It's really interesting, especially for those who are bilingual. You can just switch, but it also switches your brain. Just switches your brain. But there you go. A boot. Yeah, a boot. Exactly, right? Yeah. Everyone I've ever asked that question, your brain switches. It can change accent, of course, but you will see the world in a different way. Hey, great to have you on this, our first LinkedIn message. Great to have you on the stream. Totally agree with the different worlds part, yeah. I'm just trying to think for myself. Because I live in America, have done for like 7-8 years. I know I obviously use different words, like trash, can, to the bin. But I wonder if when I'm over here, I get more American, but I'm not American, so that might be why it's significantly less. But I wonder when I go back to home, like for my friends in America, I wonder if they saw me interact in England, if I'd be more different than I am. More different. Yeah, look at that. My personality changes when I speak a different language, which is so interesting, isn't it? And also, I don't know for you as well, time can change. Time can change. Whether that be because it's the cultural difference kind of time. Because, for example, like in some European countries, this can be more leisurely, more laid back. In other countries, it could be more timely. Like if you think, say New York, it could be very, very more timely because it's like go, go, go. But then going to say in a different country, like say like Greece or Spain, it's more relaxed. So I wonder if the person who, I'm sure, based on people I've asked, their perception of time switches as well. Interesting. Yeah, mannerisms, gestures. But anyway, it wasn't the topic of today's show, and we did that earlier, how to unchain and retrain your brain. But also, what does that mean? Imagine, because we're talking about it, strategies. Is there a solution in the other language that you speak, which isn't in the present language you're speaking. I wonder if that could be a good thing to, if anyone's ever researched that. So let's just say like you are very, very confident in like say Arabic or Spanish or whatever language you also know, but that personality of you is very confident. Whereas say if you're in say in England or America, that personality perception of self is not. And I wonder if you could kind of map them over. Be something to think about. Interesting. But there you go. I am like the switching generalizations to the positive. What, when you're in a different language? Well, when you're communicating in that other language of native language? Well, what am I thinking? Not native. Maybe it is. Could be a native. I'm thinking like you're fluent. See, still, if you're still fluent. Because then you could just try to look for mapping it over. Be interesting. I don't know. It just came to my mind. But since you're different personalities, different perceptions, different timelines, maybe you have different personality of confidence and self-certainty in one, which you don't have in the other. Which means you have it as a reality in one, and we just got to map it over. Because it's there, it means you've got like what I'm trying to say is, if you do have more confidence or whatever the behavior, thought, feeling is, it means you actually do have the strategy. Like you've got it already. We've just got to map it over. It's not like you're saying you got to create. It's not saying like you got to do this. It's about moving it over for association. But I don't know. Who knows? Like I said, I'm just trying to master this language of my one language I know. Yeah, there you go. Maybe when in Turkish you're more certain or specific. Who knows? But anyway, this went to a stream longer than I was thinking. I thought we were going to have a short class today. Yeah. I mean, we can like, imagine if we're using hypnosis to do it. Like, because we were like, I don't know if you were here on the part of the episode, but it was, like I said, how to retrain the brain, but that was going into like visualization, hypnosis and stuff. Well, if we can just utilize hypnosis to map it over, because it'll be more unconscious, that switch. We don't consciously go, well, I'm going to see the world in a different personality or a different timeline or all those things. It's just unconscious. So then use hypnosis maybe. Yes, it's not going to be for everyone, but maybe for someone. Could be interesting. Even if it wasn't like, say, if it was not about positive and negative, maybe you are, say, more timely in one language or one association of language, but you're not in the other, but you'd like to be more timely in the other. Because I said cultures can have different time distortions. Yeah, me too. And like I said, I'm trying to master that one. I need to master this language, the only one I know, before I start to learn a new one. And if it was going to learn another one, I think it would be Spanish. Well, that can be also different as well, depending how long. So I'd be curious to find out, because curiosity is the key. That can come from a lot of reasons, like if the environment, so if she was trying to speak English and it wasn't as natural, but then you had all that, say maybe English, I'll say, because I know you're in America, like American customs, do we feel different? Do we feel like we're not accepted? Like there can be lots of things, right, when you move to a different, I mean, even I notice it over here. People can interact with me differently when they hear that I'm English. So I wonder if that could be an element as well. Well, thank you. do my best. Yes, don't get us started on schedule and schedule. But what the languages which have, say for example, when I was in Thailand, I know a lot of the because what English is like Germanic, is that right? And then you got the say Spanish is more whatever you call it. But the hard one is the different words for different genders. That's really tricky. Because I know like in Thailand, I can't remember, but like it was like Sawadika. I think that might be the female way of saying it compared to, which means I think by memory it's just like hello or thanks or both. Obviously you as a male, I wouldn't be saying it in the female sense. So that kind of blows my mind as well. Well, that's probably why then. That's probably why. Anyway, we've digressed again. Tanya, you better go to bed already. Being in England. But you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Tanya, what did I just say? What did I just say? Go to sleep. Yeah, exactly. The whole time distortion. You even, like, I'm saying we gotta go. We gotta finish this. But when I go on holiday to a beach, my time distortion changes because I'm not run on time because I'm not there for time. Whereas when I'm on my daily routine, I've got time. There's things I do at certain times, where it be my audios, my podcast, this live streaming. So I live in a time-based world here, but when I switch into the perception of vacation or holiday, my time, it can take a day or two to ease into it, but it will do. Yeah, you have a good one. Thank you for being here. Yes, go to sleep. Good night. Yeah, true. Okay, my friends, thank you for being here. Hit the like button if you haven't already, if you're on youtube.com/Joseph Clough /live, maybe. Take you to this live. And that means we'll just finish strong. And I'll be back on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, motivational. Wednesday will be another live hypnosis. And on Friday, who knows? Who knows? Many thanks and goodbye.